All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Josh Dobbs, the newest 49er quarterback, did a little sit down with Adam Schefter. We'll talk a little bit about it and let you hear from Dobbs coming up next. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. We're also brought to you by Marin Auto Glass, 415-883-3030, marinautoglass.com on the web. All right, let's talk a little bit about Josh Dobbs. Dobbs is interesting. He is the 49ers' newest quarterback. And, it's funny. Last year, there was a lot made about, Sam Darnold and what he was going to do. And it was really because it was about, Darnold is going to share time with Lance. And there were so many people at that time who were so, paranoid about the 49ers and what they were going to do with Lance and how Purdy fit into the mix. And then when you introduced Darnold, and Darnold hadn't had a whole lot of success, and people were like, wait, what about Lance? What about Lance? You traded for Lance. But I thought it was interesting that, Dobbs sat down with Adam Schefter and just talked a little bit about why he chose the Niners and why the Niners were really, really attractive to him. And then Kyle Posey on Niners Nation wrote a really good piece, The 4 Reasons that Josh Dobbs came to the 49ers. One thing that's clear this year is that the pecking order's set. Purdy's the 1, Dobbs is the 2, and Brandon Allen is the 3. And I think the 49ers, I think that's part of the reason this is such an attractive option to the 49ers, because they don't want a big debate, a public debate, some kind of Twitter back and forth. Who's the starter? Who's the 1? Who's the 2? It becomes a distraction. They want a clearly delineated quarterback depth chart with Brock Purdy atop it. And that's where they're at. So Purdy's your 1, and Joshua Dobbs is the 2, and Brandon Allen is the 3. Now, it was interesting when Dobbs started talking about why the Niners were a good fit for him. And he said that one of the things that mattered to him is he wanted a front office where there was, continuity and consistency. And the 49ers, with the John Lynch running the show, offer that. They have a very consistent front office. They have a very credible public face. They have a very credible football leader in John Lynch. And I think Lynch, in a lot of ways, is worth every penny you pay him, because he creates a calm and gives the 49ers a layer of credibility, because he himself has tremendous credibility. John Lynch was not just a great football player. John Lynch is a great guy. John Lynch is a smart guy. John Lynch is a friendly guy. He handles the media well. He handles the players well. He's a mature, respected Hall of Famer. What's not to like about John Lynch? He's a super nice guy, and he crushed people as a player. So, nobody would ever question his toughness, and nobody would ever question his intellect. And, so smart and tough are at the top of the list of things you're looking for when you're looking for any player in the NFL. You ask me, I'm looking for a player. What am I looking for? Somebody who's smart, somebody who's tough.
So I want to ask you a few quarterback questions. Brock Purdy, you're going to be teammates with him this year. What do you see when you watch Brock Purdy play?
Man, he plays like efficient football. Like, we played him in Arizona, and that's why I respect it so much. I think, we stopped him once. I think it was like 31 or 34, 300 yards and a couple touchdowns. Now, he does have a great cast, but at the end of the day, like, he has to be the decision maker and the driving force of the offense. And the way he makes good decisions, takes care of the football, and plays just efficient, clean football. Like, he might not go out there and make the wow play all the time, but he's going to go out there and put his team in a great position to be successful. And that's what you have to do, especially in the Shanahan offense. And then obviously, especially when you have some really good weapons around you. And so that's why I've respected seeing how he's been able to quickly do that from the first year, getting thrown into the fire, because I know what that feels like. And then being able to go to the NFC Championship game have one injury away from going to the Super Bowl and then go to the Super Bowl the next year in the midst of obviously all the people trying to say, you know, he's a game manager, yada, yada, yada. At the end of the day, he wins football games and he plays efficient football. That's all you can ask for. So that's why I'm most excited about, just being able to obviously, you know, provide my perspective on what I've learned throughout the league and be able to assume whatever role that looks like this upcoming year, but to be around that and that coaching and that type of player and that type of room and that consistency, I think it'd be really good for me, and I'm excited to see what I'll be able to add and help the team with for this upcoming year.
So that's what John Lynch represents. So, I mean, the fact that Dobbs wanted a consistent front office, I think that's really interesting. The other thing that came out was that Dobbs wanted a consistent coaching staff. And, you know, the 49ers have a scheme that Kyle Shanahan runs that is being copied all around the league. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how many teams right now are running the Shanahan scheme, but it's a bunch. And it's a very well-respected scheme. And then have you noticed that the Niner coaches continue to get hired as head coaches and coordinators around the NFL? Why? Because it's a scheme that works. They're running a scheme that works. They're running a scheme that other people admire and want to copy and use and utilize. So I think for a guy like Dobbs, who's been moving around, wouldn't you want to know this scheme? Because this scheme is being used in Tennessee. This scheme's being used in Houston. This scheme, to a degree, is being used in Miami. You know, so there you go. So he wanted a place with a consistent front office. That box is checked. He wanted a place with a consistent coaching staff. That box is checked. And he wanted a place where where he could develop as a quarterback. He's still a young guy that needs to be developed. And look at what Sam Darnold did. Sam Darnold played 1 year in this scheme, signed on for 1 year and $5 million, and departed this scheme to go sign on with the Vikings for 1 year and $10 million. He doubled his salary from $5 to $10 million after playing one game in this scheme. So I think Dobbs and his agent, his representatives, looked at this and said, you know what? If Darnold can do it, we can do it too. So that's one. Two, he wanted to be in an offense that's utilized around the NFL. And that's what the Niners scheme is. I would say the Niners scheme is probably, you know, the Shanahan offense is probably utilized by as many teams in the NFL as any individual scheme is. So once again, you know, if you're Josh Dobbs, you're hoping that you get some time with the 49ers, but you don't know. You may be here a year. You may be here 2 years. Heck, if you get your druthers, maybe you'd be here 4 or 5 years. Who knows? Maybe that's not what he wants. Maybe he would like to just parlay 1 year in this 49er offense with all these weapons and this really sound offense and this really, you know, quality offensive play caller, and surf that to his next spot. So you want an offense that's not just good. You want an offense that's being utilized around the NFL, and this offense is. And then he, you know, the one thing he also said, he's excited to be around a winning culture. You know, the 49ers have been to a couple Super Bowls. They've been in the NFC Championship game. You know, they show up in camp looking to win. I mean, they show up in camp not just looking to make the playoffs, but looking to win the Super Bowl. This guy's played in Tennessee. They don't have that standard. Minnesota, they don't have that standard. Arizona, these teams don't go to Super Bowls and haven't for a while. I mean, outside of a random year for Arizona, 1 year, you know, here or there. But I mean, that's not their standard. The Niners standard is to go to the Super Bowl. So he's excited to be part of a winning culture. I thought that was kind of cool. And then the other thing that came out is that he admires Brock Purdy. We'll talk more about that in a second. This video is brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Aura. And now a word from that sponsor, Aura. Have you ever typed your name on the internet and seen all of your private information is online? Are you tired of receiving tons of spam calls from random numbers? Are you receiving more and more of these as time has gone on? Well, that's where Aura, the sponsor of today's show, can really help you out. Data brokers sell your information to scammers and spammers and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, your email, your home address, all your records, your health records, who your relatives are. It's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use the information to help them access my social media accounts, my bank accounts, or any other sensitive information. Aura also does so much more to protect me and my family from online threats I can't see. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up. And best of all, I get everything at one affordable price. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to the link in the description to start your 2-week free trial. And thanks to Aura for being a proud sponsor of The Krug Show. The last part of the Dobbs equation and interview with Adam Schefter that I thought was really the most interesting is that Josh Dobbs admires Brock Purdy. He admires Brock Purdy for the fact that he plays the position well. He makes good decisions. You know, he's got good decision-making ability, and he's proven it even in high-pressure situations. Brock Purdy takes care of the football. He doesn't turn it over. That's something that if you're playing here or anywhere, you want to make sure that you're not turning the football over. And really more than anything, I think that what Dobbs is looking to glean from Purdy is just his overall efficiency level. The guy plays efficient football. If you're going to win in the NFL, you've got to play efficient football, and he does. So there you have it. Josh Dobbs on the reasons that he came to San Francisco, and obviously one of them was Shanahan, one of them was Lynch, one of them was Purdy, one of them was the winning tradition. And I'm eager to see what Dobbs looks like this summer. A good little sit down between Dobbs and Adam Schefter. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting The Krug Show.